Good evening, my dear viewers. We are back in another episode of Environmental Dialogue that we always have here every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. We know that that's the time that everyone is settled. They are back from their workplace, wherever they were being engaged, and they are seated and they are willingly able to listen to everyone who is in this show. I have always told you that we invite different guests, different experts, people who have been in the community, who have been really doing a lot of impact in our environment, that they have certain things, that certain ideas, certain trainings, certain knowledge that they can really digest with you, explore with you together. That's the reason why we always host this show at Uganda Television, at Uganda Catholic Television, that's UCTV, every Wednesday. And you know that the management of UCTV has empowered us in that capacity to always eye out this show. I'm your host, Dickens Ochero, that will always be having you here every Wednesday. And today we have very wonderful guests from different parts of this country. You know, you've been asking me that I need to invite Uganda Kingdom, and today Uganda Kingdom is here with us. And NFA, that's National Forestry Authority, is also here with us this evening. And all of them, they have come to really articulate, to explore things to do with environment, because they know that it's everyone's mandate. It's not only for the rich, for the poor, for the young, for the old, for the youth only, but it's for everyone. That's the reason why today we have a very interesting theme that we are discussing, or topic that we are discussing, and that is the role of women in environmental conservation. Without waste of time, let me first take this time to invite my dear guests to introduce themselves, to say something about themselves before we enter into exploring this topic of today. Thank you. Let me welcome my friend, my fellow climate activist, Teddy. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Speak to the viewers there.
Well, good evening to you all. I'm happy to be here. I have been looking forward. Thank you for inviting me. Really, Dickens knows. I've always been looking forward to join you. My name is Teddy Nabakooza Galiwango. I'm the Principal Environment Officer, but above all, I'm a climate activist. I'm an environmental scientist and a Rotarian.
Wow,
yes.
That's from Teddy. Yeah. She's also the pioneer and the author of One Go Up.
Yes,
She's
yeah.
a scientist,
yes.
and she's doing really wonderful things in the community. Sure. All right, with that, let me go to Mr. Aldo, also my good friend.
Good evening, viewers. I'm glad to be here from the National Forestry Authority. Greetings from the Executive Director. I am the Communications and Public Relations Manager, Media Consultant, and yeah, let's see what role women play in conservation.
All right, my dear viewers, you have heard from them. I told you that you don't need to touch your remote today. You need just to stay tuned and not anyone to make for you noise, but you need just to listen to this wonderful guest whom I have today at the studio. All right. When we talk about women's impact, all the roles of women in environmental conservation, you see that statistics says that 77% of the women are involved directly in agriculture, and we see that even when you go to rural areas like villages, we see it's our mothers who wake up very early in the morning, going to those gardens, who cutting trees for firewood, doing a lot of things. And we have seen that their contribution has either caused positive impact or negative impact.
Both.
And that's the reason why we have been within Utambala.
Yes.
As I saw you last time in Namibia, trying to reach out. And these are something that you have been experiencing, and you know that. And that's the reason why the question is, all right, Honorable Teddy, let me start with you. What's the role of these women? First, give us an overview of this women involvement in environmental conservation before I go again to Aldo.
Yes. Well, Dickens, thank you for that. We need to start at a point where women are the direct, I'm going to use the word direct, people involved in the day-to-day use of the environment. When you talk about, well, biofuel, getting firewood, it is women, it is girls. When you talk about water, fetching water, going out there, women play a crucial role. So even at home, in agriculture, farming, it's majorly women. And this is not only in Uganda, global. So they are the direct people that have that contact with the environment. It brings two things, of course, positive and negative. We have to acknowledge the two. Yes, we have to acknowledge the two. So given the role of women in their homes, for food, looking out for food, actually looking at the chain of agriculture, farming, women are involved. Preparation of the food, they are involved. Even purchasing it. Yeah. We're at a point where women are head of homes and contribute too much into acquiring the food for the family. And even when you go to manufacturing, places everywhere, you find that they're there, they're involved. So the kind of contact they have with the environment is the reason as to why they are key stakeholders in that. Looking at the greatest reason for clearing our forests, the tree cover, which is the need for cooking, the need for energy. These are women that are directly involved in that. So you cannot keep them out when you're talking about conserving the environment. Because of their role in using the environment for their own, for their families, for their livelihoods. That's the crucial role that they play. So I've given you an overview of what they use the environment for. So now,
the question is
conservation. Conservation. Yes. Now, in conservation, I'm a mother, so I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
The point where women nurture. And in this nurturing, they help give these different skills to the children that can help into conserving the environment. Surely. And it's the whole reason I am saying, if we show these women and empower them and tell them the benefits of conserving this environment, we will not be struggling to tell older generations about it. It will be nurtured into the children as they go into schools, and then they carry it on for the rest of their lives. So now, we have women activists.
Yes.
I am one of them.
One of them.
Exactly. We have women that are involved in making policies today.
Yes.
We have women that are speaking out. So in advocacy, in policies, and then we have women-led organizations. I am proud to say that in Uganda, you do know, we have so many organizations led by women. We have umbrellas like Women in Climate Change, Women in Conservation, Women in Renewable Energy, and they are doing remarkable impacts when it comes to conservation. They really do. So that is one of the ways we are seeing women contributing to conservation. But also secondly, I'm a person who works with local communities. I've come to pick one point of interest. When we bring out different initiatives that help in conserving the environment, I'll give you an example of collecting plastic bottles. I also had a perception that it's youth that are mainly involved, but on the ground I have noticed women are collecting these bottles. You might not then see them walking around, but the collection points are women-led. Remember, when they collect these bottles, it's mainly two purposes. One is for recycling, and then the second one that we shouldn't ignore is the fact that they reuse them for making juice, packing juice and all that. That is a role that women are actually spearheading. And this, now that with Buganda Kingdom we have a project of Naluba Rebeo. It's a program actually that has a project that says akachupa nazo sente, meaning everywhere you see a bottle, that is money. And working through these structures, I've noticed that women are key stakeholders in this. So implementation of these different projects, I know Aldo will come in and tell us, planting these trees, the initiatives that we do, and now we are growing them. You'll notice that because of, pitting, we need men to dig the holes, but then planting and nurturing these trees goes back to the women. So implementation of these projects in advocacy, I see that women have a very big role in that. So I'll keep on letting you know as we go on.
Yes.
Let
me go to Aldo. Aldo, you've heard of Teddy's exploration where she's saying that women have really done a lot in terms of conservation, and even the statistics says that 21% of their contribution, they have contributed 21% even to the country's GDP, and we see that out of their contribution, we see that there are certain things that even the government has benefited, like exports, which we know that also there is that percentage whereby the government is saying that due to their conservation work, like the agricultural involvement, natural resource management, and also protection that the women have been engaged in, we have seen very many persons that their contribution is playing a role. But now, as a sector like NFA, National Forestry Authority, is it not a problem really to the authority due to the agricultural involvement, natural resource? We have seen that 77% of them, they are always in agriculture, and 80% of the women, you know, in rural areas and also in urban areas, we have seen they are still into firewood business, and this is something which is a threat to the NFA. So tell us about it.
Dickens, given the present challenge of climate change, it is women who are redefining the activities that are involved or related to land use in Uganda. You'll find that before now, men have been championing cutting trees for charcoal, doing rock quarrying even in central forest reserves, burning bricks, all these that are detrimental to the environment. But now women are coming in to say, instead of cutting trees, let's germinate tree seed. Let's protect the seedlings and let's go and plant the trees. So this redefinition of land use means that it is a realization after creating awareness from entities like NFA and NEMA and others about the importance of conserving our environment because of this lion or a leviathan called climate change. So in so doing, they go in communities, in groups, at the water wells, preaching the gospel of positive practices, of forestry, wetland protection. You see, even in Kampala today, you see, it is women who are growing vegetables on their balconies. 21 floors high up or 10 floors high up, you find a lady growing spinach in these plastic bottles Teddy talked about. And this reduces on encroachment on more land and leaving more land to fallow and also grow trees and the wetland also to regenerate. So women are doing a lot in promoting sustainable practices, in educating the masses by leading by example. These examples I've given, but also participating in issues of environmental governance. Women are at the forefront of making key decisions in the Parliament of Uganda. We have more than 130 ladies legislating laws that are aiming at conserving our environment and reducing the effects of climate change. Why? It is women in Bududa, for example, when there are floods in Kasese, who come at the forefront detailing how it occurred, how they saw warnings in their gardens of cracks, while the men are a bit timid and laid back. So women play a very important role in environmental conservation. They only need support and being positioned in better places, especially at the national we have, but at the lower communities, villages, we need to give them more resources to empower them because they know how important it is to conserve the environment.
That's it really. As you say that they play a very important role, but there is also an aspect of, I witnessed this when last time we went to Kapchora, where the women group were complaining that there are certain programs that NFA brings, the government brings in place, and you find that they just bump with them anyhow. And wait for them, they try their own means, you find that they're holding them as culprits, like in maybe in environmental conservation. And also, there is a problem that they have been also complaining of. I think also Teddy witnessed when he went to Butambala, where they say that they don't have access to tree seedlings, they don't have access to other programs. And now, how can we, as like you as an agency who represent NFA, how can we really help these women so that we can really nurture their skills, we nurture what, because I've seen that they have a lot of ideas in areas to do with innovation, but they don't know how to package this and to exploit it and put it in the place. So now how can we help these people?
Thank you, Dickens. You have talked about a region that I fairly understand.
Yeah.
The cultural constraints in Kapchorwa
Yeah.
are as alive and well like they are in Karamoja and other places in Western Uganda. So this impedes on the participation of a woman in issues of environmental conservation.
Yeah.
For example, in Kwen district, you will find that for a woman to be qualified to be mature, they only have to be genitally mutilated. Now, this means before you're genitally mutilated, you won't participate in issues of development and issues of concern like environmental conservation. So these cultural practices that are detrimental to environmental conservation, especially in the perception and mind of the women in our societies, should be dealt against. This means that if a woman is not empowered to realize that even without genital mutilation, yes, this woman can fight for protection or speak for the protection of a wetland or a forest, then, I mean, we need to look at and interrogate these practices, because the decisions women, or how they arrive at the platforms where decisions are made, are impeded by these cultural practices. I think Teddy, as a lady here, in environmental practices, some of these cultural practices have already affected some people, yeah, especially ladies. And not only, it is not unique to Kapchorwa, even in Eastern Uganda, even here in Central Buganda. You find that these affect. Now, what we have done as the National Forestry Authority is to create collaborative forest management groups, empower the women, define their roles in the value chain of, for example, the forestry. Yeah? Women are seen at the forefront of nurturing tree seed. They are seen at the forefront in all our 38 nurseries in Uganda, at the forefront of protecting these seedlings, and also managing how they are distributed, how they are planted and grown. Currently, the manager, National Tree Seed Center at the National Forestry Authority is Reni Naguti. She's a lady. We have range managers in Sango Bay, Esther Nekesa, who is a lady. So at the National Forestry Authority, we are at the forefront of empowering and giving women access to make decisions that are relevant to environmental protection and conservation.
Yes, Dickens, I would want to, actually I would want to come in because you are tackling the cultural aspect.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to come to you.
And I can't tell, yes, I had to pick up, you know. Well, I do agree with him when he says that the cultural aspect of it, the traditional part of it, brings in a certain limitation when it comes to women, as they play the different roles in conservation. But we do have actually a partnership with NFA. It's Buganda Kingdom. Yes, so I hope that should be a direct path to getting seedlings whenever there is a need.
They are available. They are available.
We are available.
That's our mandate.
Yes, we are witness.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, but well, to explain more about that cultural aspect, I think the better approach is first of all to understand the different cultures as per the region. For example, in Buganda Kingdom, and I'm just giving this as an example, not like a, it is not a practice. You'll find that when a woman, we've had this belief before and within the region that girls during their time of the month were not meant to go to wells. And it's not that anything is going to happen, but there's that element of ensuring hygiene at places where water is being collected. We've had forests within Buganda Kingdom before that are limited, are sacred. Not everyone goes in. We have a belief of Damula. We used to have a tree called Damula. And if they say Damula is in that forest, then you do not just go and pick out, cut the trees as you wish. And not forgetting our clans. If you come from a certain clan, totem, like I'm from a cow clan. Yes, and for example, Mamba clan, you're not supposed to eat the Mamba. Wow. And you have to protect it at all costs. So our connection to biodiversity as Buganda Kingdom is a tool, a strength that we can use as conservationists. We leverage on that to ensure that now Buganda Kingdom will at all costs protect biodiversity because of the attachment we have. These are our clans, the plants, the animals. It's that, yes, it's that attachment. So when you understand what that culture, what that given traditional group of people stand for, you can use those beliefs that they have as tools, as strength to ensure conservation. I think understanding them is easy. If there is a tree that women are not supposed to plant, do not distribute it to that community anyway, because they will not be able to plant it. So it's just that element of understanding the different cultures and find a way, working closely with them, of how to implement.
All right, then we have come to the issue of culture. So it means that we are going to do policy issues, the ones which may be also different cultures are coming. Because there was a question that I was supposed to ask Teddy, but I'm going back after the break. So, dear viewers, we are going to have a short commercial break, then we shall be back. Please don't change the channel. Just stay calm and wait for us. We shall be back in a short moment. Thank you. Thank you.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Caritas Uganda is a social development department under the Uganda Episcopal Conference. Our aim is to empower communities and transform lives. Do not miss Caritas Focus every Sunday and Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on UCTV.
Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the Sports Link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot, and look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing, swimming and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all. Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial *165*3#. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
UCTV. Good news for all.
We'll be back from that short commercial break, my dear viewers. We are still here to explore more and more about women's role in environmental conservation. You know that in spite of women's contributions in environmental conservation, but we still find that these women are constrained with certain things like resources, knowledge access, or these are things that really we know that limits them. And as we have been discussing about also the cultural perspectives, you know that there are certain cultures that don't allow other women to do A, B, C, D. As Ali was saying that, you know, in Bay region, women are always taken as in this certain aspect. We also have Teddy who is still taking us more and more into Uganda, because last week I saw her always mobilizing all the young people from all the division of Uganda and training them. I don't know if she was also putting that mindset of training these women who are still lacking. They have the lowest access to knowledge, because without knowledge, you know that there is nothing they can do more. They cannot really. They are limited to explore their potential, their skills that they have. And we know that now in Uganda, very many women have been limited with the issue of culture, especially the married one, where a man says that, you know what, your work is garden. For me, mine is another thing. Where we know that a family is something that they should sit together, they do things together. But because of the culture or the way we have been nurtured in certain families, we have made women to be limited. So, tell me, with regards to what you are still talking about, the culture aspects that has limited these women. So, how can we help really these women, which we know that they have the lowest access to knowledge, to trainings? How can we help? Because I've seen you have started taking initiative by starting mobilizing the young people.
Yes.
And I know that also not the young people, but we have this issue of women. They are the biggest contributors to our environmental conservation, and also other perspectives state that where men say that they are the biggest distractors, destroyers in our environment because of their involvement. But we know that this is just because of lack of certain aspects that they need. So how can we help these women?
Yes, I do agree with you. Part of, actually the greatest reason as to why a lot of degradation is happening in the hands of us women is lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, completely. Because if they had known that if I cut down this forest and clear it, in the next month I will not even have anything to use. So how can we help them? It is the need to empower them. We have to empower them. And how do we do this? I'm going to use an example of that greatest challenge of clearing trees. And because he's here, NFA understands that problem. And then the wetland encroachment.
Also, the voice was raised. Yes. They were saying, well, Uganda Kingdom gave us this.
Yes, surely. While we empower them, we need to look out for those projects that they will embrace, that directly get to them. I'll give you an example of briquettes. Briquettes is one of the greatest potential that we have, that is a very good solution to, first of all, reducing the wastage and misuse of charcoal. While we are on the transitioning from use of charcoal, but we are just transitioning. That means we are still using it. And greatest percentage of people are using this charcoal. So now, why not work towards efficient use of it? Avoid wastage. Briquettes provide that solution. They also provide that solution of cutting down trees for firewood. So women need to be trained, first of all, to make quality briquettes. Today I don't even know which one is which. Today you use the briquettes, you boil for 1 hour efficiently. Next time it will go for 1 hour and 30 minutes. There is no regulation. You can't really know that I need to buy this particular type to cook for this certain type of period. And I think it's one of the problems. That's why we can't even put it out to market, that global market. Because how are we going to explain to people that is it going to use for, will you use it for 1 hour? No one knows. We'll just take on briquettes and we see how it goes. So these initiatives, I'm using briquettes because I know women are greatly involved in it. Even the elder women. We have groups of elder women within Buganda. There are those ones in Chagwe, actually. Older persons, women that make these briquettes. So we need to give them those skills, train them, empower them, and then beyond even giving skills and training, we need to give these life lessons. Show these women the potential they have, their role, their impact. They need to know the power that is in their hands to destroy, to restore, and to conserve the environment. It's very, very important. Very important. Sensitization is that important. And you see, you've talked about the youth. That, well, even today, I'm with the youth leaders from all, I was with the youth leaders from Masaza. These youth leaders involve women because as a kingdom, all these roles have been distributed to both the male and the female. So I'm trying to catch these women as they are still in their youthful stages to ensure that they are empowered, they understand their role. By the time they have families of their own and they are the women we are talking about today, we will not have a lot of trouble that we are having today. One of the problems is talking to elder persons, elder women today. Somebody will tell you, look, my grandmother used firewood and she lived for 100 years. What are you talking about?
And that's the problem.
So it is easier to touch the younger generation and to put them in the right line of conservation. Yes, but still not giving up on the women that we have today.
The biggest problem you're having is what? Culture, norms, perspective versus human one.
This is true. People's perception, where they place their values, affects environmental conservation. But as you know, we have mentioned it before, that the catastrophes created by environmental hazards affect more of the women and children. Now, what do we need to do? We need to refine our focus. Good enough, the National Development Plan 3 and now the National Development Plan 4, which is being formulated, that are under the Vision 2040, all point to this. They are refocusing and branding women in conservation more strongly. Now, what do we need to do to support this? For example, the National Development Plan 4, and in order to achieve Vision 2040, we need to analyze what are our governance practices in Uganda in regard to environmental conservation. We need to look at the laws that are, some laws were formulated shortly after independence. Some laws have run out of their relevance today.
That's very true.
And they are not spelling out what is the role of the woman in environmental conservation. Clearly, they just literally mention it, but clearly, what is it? Given that 80% of Ugandans are domestic agriculture practitioners, and of the 80%, you'll find that more than 90% of those that practice this agriculture are women. Now, why don't we, in our governance, front agroforestry, where we are growing food for food security, but also growing the trees to support our ecosystems and biodiversity. This is very important. Yeah. But even when that is done, and the policies and governance are revised and put to date, we need to look at what do our markets dictate. Our markets may dictate, despite the women being empowered, despite the laws in place, our markets may dictate that let's cut a forest to plant a sugarcane plantation. This is wrong in our markets.
Yeah.
So there should be systems that control these. For example, in Uganda, we are a surplus sugar manufacturing country.
That's true.
We don't see a reason as to why we are cutting down forests and encroaching on wetlands in the solemn name of producing more sugar. Yet we are producing over 153,000 metric tons. Our consumption is about 16,000 metric tons. We are more than we are beyond capacity domestically and for export. So the market should also be looked at critically. What the professionalism? It's good. Teddy is a professional in environmental management issues. Yeah. But how many Teddys do we have as women to champion this role?
That's the issue.
And how many are placed in positions of decision making like Teddy is? So we need to go and antagonize. We need to go and investigate, examine. How are we pushing the women at the forefront of the professionalism agenda for conserving their environment? And then finally to the state. How is the state's decisions? How are they parallel to women in environmental conservation? For example, we have women ministers in the Ministry of Water and Energy, and Environment. We have directors who are women. But most of what they posit and suggest to us, in line with the legal regime, governance, and the markets, is not put to order or respected. So we should antagonize these four things. Yeah. The governance, markets, professionalism, and the parallelism of the state's decisions towards women in environmental conservation.
Yeah, and that brings us to what we call is policy issues, or the bylaws, or the cultural norms, and that's the reason now why I'm seeing that, you know, without all this what you have explained, the governance issues, the environmental sustainability management issue, you cannot do all this as authority without that policy. So, and we see that the biggest thing right now that has limited, I think, also Teddy's operations and also NFS operation, that NEMA is also crying of that. You say that there are certain policies that are outdated. Maybe they are made in that regime where Uganda still was not going through like this industrial revolution or growth that right now the government is saying we have over 500 manufacturing industry, and it is sometimes for me I ask that where are these industries? Or maybe certain times, but we understand. So now, how can we deal with this, Mr. Aldon?
We need to make the right decision. Currently, you heard about the RAPEX, rationalization of government agencies.
And you survived.
And you survived.
We are still hanging in there.
You survived. Congratulations.
But you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
As this was going on, the 506 Central Forest Reserves in Uganda were mapped out by dealers and would-be investors who want to occupy them to grow cash crops and also construct estates.
Wow.
That's why, as the state, the parallelism, we should make the right decision. Otherwise, we are seated on a time bomb, and one time they'll remember Aldon saying this, that with all due respect, our state actors, the leaders, should make the right decision to protect the environment, but also to emancipate and bring up women at the forefront in environmental conservation.
Yeah. So let me come to Teddy in regards to that. Teddy, we have seen like last time during the Lubiji saga. Other people, I don't know if ignorant, they were blaming that Uganda Kingdom and they are blaming it's the kingdom that gave us the land. And now other people said, how can the kingdom give the wetland? You know, how can the kingdom? When the kingdom has environmental departments as something that handles environmental issues and all that, and I know that you're directly involved because I've seen your work, I've seen you people moving in different places. So now, how can we really help this in regards to policy issues, or is there a way like that Uganda Kingdom is working with the government, is working with NFA, NEMA, that before coming up with a policy, maybe tabling a policy or coming with a position paper, position paper, maybe you people first sit together and they say that, you know what, yes, we as the government, this is what we see, but also we need to come to what? Uganda. Then we harmonize things. Is there those, because we see that if the government is coming out, also the kingdoms are coming, because I know that it's not only Uganda Kingdom. We have also the Acholi, the Langis, the Wasoga, the Wamasaba, all these are cultural institutions that we know that they have also their policy. But as Aldo has stated that this policy sometimes cannot apply in the area that we are operating in. So how are we going to deal with all this mix-up?
So, Dickens, as the Kingdom of Uganda, you've already said it, we are champions. We spearhead environmental restoration. Even the Kabaka's message is clear on environment. So as a kingdom, we are focused on restoring. It's the reason we have projects like Chibida Cha Kabaka. And you understand the concept too. He was talking about agroforestry. That is a Chibida Cha Kabaka. So looking at the institution as the kingdom and how we are putting in efforts in restoration, it means we stand for the same. When NEMA comes out to restore the wetlands, we stand for the same thing. Now where is the problem? The problem is alignment. The government agencies, the government need to understand the key stakeholders in whichever initiative they are going to carry out. Actually, in the Ministry of Environment of Uganda Kingdom, we had to invite people, to invite the heads of the environment committees from the counties, Masaza, from the sub-counties, the Magombolora. We invited them even after that incident. But this should have done earlier with NEMA before we have to go out there. So that will sensitize our people. So that will make our people understand. Yes, you can have ownership of land that has a wetland, but you are not supposed to misuse it. You're not supposed to degrade it. You're not supposed to use it without guidelines from where? From NEMA. Do people know this?
They don't know that.
Well, they understand that they have had generations of ancestors on that land. So you have, exactly. And yes, they have ownership of that land. Who are you to direct me how to use my land?
We have always had this argument. If my grandfather, if my grandfather grabbed a wetland or a central forest reserve
in
1945, does it become mine legally? Now this is a question we have to answer, and we always have to make the right decision.
Exactly.
Today we are facing such challenges, and we go back to say, yes, your clan encroached on wetland, a forest reserve.
Yes.
Does it legalize it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And people need to know this.
And people should know that the area is more powerful than the land title.
Exactly.
Today we have cancelled 120 illegal land titles just in central Uganda. And the hearing is
120
of about 700 illegal land titles in the Ministry of Lands currently.
And that brings the same question. Were these people engaged prior?
You see?
Did you educate them that, well, you have this land title, but it is illegal? I know you've been here for 2 generations, but it's not right, because natural resources have to be, they have to be managed, and they're in the care and protection of the government. Do they know? Although you have to just receive a letter telling them your land title is cancelled, this is a forest reserve, if you want, report to court at this time.
Fortunately, as the National Forestry Authority, since 2018, when we had the least forest cover in Uganda has ever had, that is 9%.
Yeah, 9%.
We began sensitizing people about the importance, the boundaries, and that's why you've had the word boundary opening. And since then, 2018, and even the current titles where we are having a hearing at the Ministry of Lands, we sensitized them since then. You know, they become elusive, they don't come up, they don't present their titles, but we communicate to them at least. And now the hearing, that is how many years? 5 years ago.
About 5
So
years.
now the hearing has come in, so that when next year or next month we cancel their title, they are aware. But again, what has it benefited Ugandans? Because these Central Forest Reserves are for Ugandans that are managed by the government. From 9% in 2018, currently we have close to 13% of forest cover. This means that the National Forestry Authority is more relevant than any other agency in environmental conservation today. Actually, it should even be a ministry. So as to manage the Central Forest Reserve more efficiently.
Okay, Aldo, you said you had something that you wanted to hear.
Yes, this goes to Aldo again. No, I'm sorry for hijacking you at this point, but I have to use this opportunity. So many tree planting initiatives are ongoing.
Yes.
He has been in it, I am part of it. Now, different organizations and institutions, and I know not many of them as organized as Buganda Kingdom. Well, because for us we plant, it's proper planning, monitoring and all that involved. So as NFA, the people that are contributing towards the same initiative you stand for, that is increasing tree cover and protecting what we have, would you have something for these, different initiatives, so that as the agency in tree cover, you harmonize all these initiatives, the trees being planted, it comes in handy to, at the end of the day, that we've shifted from 13% to this. So that's just, I had to make that inquiry.
Yes, Aldo.
This quarter alone, we have given out more than 20,000 free tree seedlings.
Wow.
So that is our mandate. And we are the monopoly of tree seed and the top suppliers of seedlings in Uganda. So please, out there, write to the executive director and express your interest, and it will be catered for. Because the government of Uganda allocates money. This budget, we are giving 15 million tree seedlings.
Wow.
We also have other partners who contribute. So as and when you feel, please write to the executive director and we will fulfill. I'm in charge of CSR for tree seedlings.
Wow.
I wrote that in his. That's what I wanted him to just say that out.
And the Uganda Kingdom, the kingdoms are our partners.
Yes, we are partners.
With high esteem.
Okay.
So please, you're welcome. Always, the door is open.
Okay, let me, before giving Teddy to make a final recommendation and conclusion, let me also take this opportunity so that you make your final recommendation, the message out there to the viewers and all that of who always watch UCTV Environmental Dialogue. You can make maybe your recommendation, what really you want to.
Yeah, I've been made more comfortable by attending this very nutritious program on UCTV. I think it will communicate more about environmental conservation, especially among the women, and we look forward to partnering with environmental conservationists and actors like the NFA and others, the Buganda Kingdom, so that together we can mitigate issues of climate change. I remain Aldon Walukamba, the Communications and Public Relations Manager at the National Forestry Authority.
Wow. Oh, thank you, Aldo, my friend. I know the conversation was getting more than interesting, except that because of time and also other engagement that I know is waiting for Aldo, we could not go by past time. Okay, Teddy, This goes to your final recommendation to your young people, that the women out there who are watching you. They are waiting. They say that really we need to hear Teddy. How can we get in touch with Teddy? How can we work with Teddy? How can we tap into those trainings with Teddy? So you can make your final recommendation to the viewers.
Fellow women and youth, please let us grow trees. Let us not only plant, but let us grow trees. Let's reach out to people that can empower us, train us, enable us. Climate funding is out there for us women to grab, but we need to be ready. We need to position ourselves to be able to get that funding so that our initiatives move on smoothly, straight from the grassroots level. It starts from the grassroots and through the different levels. Together as a country, as Uganda, will achieve the tree cover that we are looking for, the targets, our visions. The power is in our hands. Thank you so much for hosting me today, UCTV on UCTV, and I look forward to our next engagement. Yes, thank you so much.
All right, then Teddy, this is your home. Aldo, this is your home. Feel free, because feel free anytime. I'll always be contacting, because I know that there are very many out there now that they have got interested, and even they're texting me and they said, because I wish the conversation was should still go like for 2 hours, except because of time. But we shall look into that. We shall share with the management of UCTV to see that we increase the time for the conversation, because they have made their pledge that they will always be here to utter out, explore a lot of things concerning environment and climate change. Thank you very much, Aldo. Thank you, Teddy, for all coming by. And I know that every time I'll be looking to working with you together so that we make this sensitization, the message, go to the public. And in conclusion, we understand that women played a very much pivotal role in environmental conservation. That's why we are seeing in farming, in agriculture, natural resource management, they have done a lot of things. And even in leadership, we have seen that women have taken up initiative without even consulting other stakeholders, or maybe the clan or their husband, but you find that they are in the garden every morning. They have made it as something which is in them. And we know that we cannot just take it for granted. And that's why we applaud women for that, and we encourage them to do more and more and protect our environment, because we know that a clean environment is a healthy environment. We know that they need to support the vision of Uganda, as others say, that we are looking at sustainability, a sustainable future for Uganda Kingdom, for other kingdoms, and also for the rest of all Ugandans. So we always remain here as the activists, as people, always to hack out what affects Ugandans in terms of environment, climate change, and we always be here. So thank you very much, my dear viewers, for always spending your time, sacrificing your time, and sitting at your set to watch this program. And we always be here every Wednesday. I told you that catch us live from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. live at UCTV every Wednesday. And those ones who have, maybe you have come from work late because of jam has delayed you, you can also catch us at YouTube, because our YouTube premieres from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we have all this information on all our social media handles. That's Facebook, we have Twitter handles, we have the YouTube handle. So you can go and follow us. You comment, send your comments. We'd like also to have your comments. We want you, even others, maybe if you recommend maybe a certain sector that we need to have Aldo and his boss next week here, we will tell Aldo we need you and your boss. And also Teddy, we will have boss, so we will have them. So thank you very much. See you next time, next Wednesday. Thank you. As today that will be celebrating independence here, I know I'll have some of them here to discuss all these issues. I remain Dickens Oschero, your host of the Environmental Dialogue. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.